Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. So we've got Paul with us who's going to talk to us about preserving using the next generation TNG. So I'll pass you across to Paul. There is on the side the ability to ask questions, and I'll just keep a check of any questions. I have already hit the record button, so this will all be recorded, and then we'll have some questions at the end. So over to you now, Paul.
Good evening. Let me show you what I look like. Can you see me is what I want to know. Okay, let's make a start. We've got 2 minutes. We've got 2 minutes, no rush. So, I might as well introduce myself while we're waiting. My name is Paul Featherstone, guild number 2627, easy to remember. I research Featherstone, which is my surname, and I've also got a second registration for Featherstone Haugh. That's H-A-U-G-H at the end. You might glimpse parts of my study today because I'll be using one of my websites to show you some of the processes. And it's still 2 minutes to go. We're doing well, aren't we? I've got two TNG sites. I've got one on the guild and one of my own. The one of my own, I have somebody else run for me. I just send him the JegCon file, he does the rest. But the other one, the guild one, I do it myself. So I'll be showing you both of those, plus another site we set up for training. So it's got all sorts on, and it's a bit confusing, but you will follow the thing. So we're going to talk about the next generation and the guild members website project. So I'm going to explain the process of how you get a guild site, really, and how it started. A couple of years ago, a few of us met on Google Hangouts, and this topic sprang up when one of the members explained what its local family history group was up to, and explained the theory of using TNG to preserve the aging members of that society's research. And they adapted TNG to allow multiple sites using one instance of the software. This would allow search across all sites using this particular method. This seemed ideal for one-name studies. With the numbers involved, we should be able to search across all the data and look for matches between studies. Not yet implemented, I may say. So the people who were keen on the idea got together and we put forward a proposal to the guild committee. We felt that this should be a member benefit and therefore should be free. This took a while to get past the committee stage, but when they realized how little it would cost, we finally got approval. So using one of the guild's unused domain names, which is onename.net, we got to go ahead and have a trial for 12 months. We explained what we were doing to the program's author, and he agreed that each site would need a license, but agreed that he did not need to see each application. As long as we kept a record, we could pay him via the treasurer, which we do. So most of the team took the option up, so we had to start around 6 sites, and we offered it to the membership on a trial basis with no guarantee that the project would continue after the trial. However, within 9 months, we proved that the project worked, went back to the committee with a proposal to make it part of the guild structure. So we then moved most of our documentation on the guild site. And now, at my last report to the committee on the state of the project, I reported that we had 156 live up and running sites and about 210 applications. I have yet to count the recent applications, though I had one today, but the number of sites now up and functioning has gone up to 162. So, you can apply once you have a registered name, and you will find the application form when you are registered with the name under this section on the Guild website, and it says members website application, and you click it, and believe it or not, it fills your name in. Look at that. But you've got to type the name in, your email address, the type of website you want, and as you see there's more than one. If you want the TNG site, that's the one to click. And if you're not sure, you get an email to say, from me to say, how can I help? So, when you fill that application form in, this is what I get. The important thing to point out here is that the terms and conditions. You cannot hide your research behind the login screen. It has to be visible to any visitor, and if you don't pull out before you leave, the site becomes the property of the Guild. This does not stop visitors registering on your site. And then you get this email from me, and it says, Dear Julie, thank you for your application of your Butcher One Name Study website hosted on the Guild Worms White project using the next generation software. And the important bits are in red. So it's going to cost you about $32, it will cost you $32.99, which is the price of a TNG license. And it converts to a bit more than £23 now, because the currency has slid a bit. And the bottom bit here is when your site, or when you feel your site's ready to be shown out to the public. It will be anyway, but there won't be a link from our website. And I'll show you that link. And there you see the full list of sites up and running. And once you're happy that your site's up and running, I add you to this list. I think it goes on forever. There we go, near the end. And it's 162. And we also advise members to adjust their profile with the new website and change your requests via this link, and that's the link there, so their profile is safe for posterity. In other words, your profile always remains on the site. So you follow that link and you pay for your license, and you send me the PayPal receipt. And it might look like that, but hopefully Julie's not paying. So you send me that, a copy of that, and I send your license to the TNG setup team, and they'll set your team up. We've got one in the USA, one in the far west of Canada, and 2 in the UK, so we can work really round the clock. Whoever picks it up sets up your site. And then you get from them this. Dear Julie, welcome to the Guild Members Website Project. And it has the link to your site here, and your username and a temporary password. And you can change that as soon as you log in. The rest of the message contains help files, tells you what you can. I think I jumped one. Yeah, okay, there. So it sets up an email address from the TNG site that goes to your one name address. If you need to get hold of Jim, there should be a link. And that is there. So there's useful videos and all sorts of stuff. So what do you do next? You go to that web address, and I made this is the testing one, so you can see it. And you put your password and login details on. And I think that's it. So you go there, and you get this box here, and you put your login details in, and lo and behold, you might see that, depending on what template they have set up. So let me show you where to find the administration screen. So it's down here, and that's what it might look like. Right, this is from the TNG help files, and the first three are if you're setting your own site up. So all that is done for you, and so the first thing you've got to do is import a JCOM file, or begin entering your information manually if you're entering by hand. Doesn't matter what you enter first. Some like to enter people first and then link them into families. Others like to start with families and add the individual second. You don't have to stick to one strategy. So your website will probably look like that, because that's, I think, the one they normally choose to set up for you. And there's the login thing there. So you will press that and then you go to your site. And if you click that button there, this button here, you'll reset your password when you log in, and it'll give you the chance to change it. Now, that list on this type of template, the administration panel is down here rather than where I showed you on the other one. So as I said before, the first thing you need to do is set up. So you click on setup there. And most of these things here you can totally ignore, because until you've got some information in there, you can't do anything with it. So this is what you see when you click the setup button and you click the template settings next, so you can choose which template you're going to use. So this is where you have to make choices, not permanently, as you can set all the templates, and you can save a different one every day and change your website. There are 15 different choices you can make as to where your site looks. You can set them up. If you don't like it, you can come back to that previous screen and set up another one. It does not go live till you click on the Save button at the bottom of the previous screen. We're now going to look at the different options others have chosen. So over to the web browser to show you what they are. And I've chosen, I don't think all the templates are covered yet, believe it or not. So I've looked at the different types of website that we can look at. So let's go to there. And so Williston looks like that. And that is the template we you can see when we, no, it's the template you see, yes it is, the template you see when I showed you the administration panel. So as you can see, it's got a nice little house there, Luther Willison's stone house, and something obviously to do with a bridge. And you can put little bits in here and link to see that immediately. And again, you can look at that. So if you look at surnames, and you put all trees, and you put, there you are. So he's only got 1,028 Willistons and Wollastons, and template 9, which is Willistoft. Looks like that. It's not template 9, that's template 15, I think. Anyway, that's another way to do it. So you can see you can have little feature articles here, and he hasn't finished all these yet because that's still gobbledygook, and so is that. So you can see the front page is fairly full. There we go, latest news. Let's go back again. We come in. There we go, different look altogether. And that's template 5. Again, he's got some features down here. What's the next one? Do it again. This is template 14. Again, something very similar, but all the links are at the bottom. Again, his search button, the advanced search should take you. Yeah. And it's amazing how you can search on these things. So if you click there, and you can see, oh, he hasn't got that many. I'll show you mine. And the last one is, no, not the last one, Senate. There we go. This is template 12, and you'll see that I use this one as well. It's quite good at showing you the different surnames it's got, and you can actually click on any of these and go straight to it. So if you went and did that, you would get a list of senates. There's quite a few of them. And Compatch. It's in Bob's site again, a different template again. And you can actually change these to anything you like, any word you like, and link to any person in the tree. Again, all the other links are on there. And the last one is Bilbo. This is definitely 2015, yeah. No, he's changed a bit of this around, so Bilbo around London from 1750, Bilbo around Kent and Staffordshire from 1750. As you can see, now I'll tell you something he hasn't done, is changed. This comes as standard, that image, and so does that one. But you can actually change those to any image you like. And just to show you the capacity of this this particular software. That's where I want to go. It's not where I want to go. That shows you how many people you can have. There's actually a site up there now with 249,000 people in it. So it's just about unlimited in how many people you can have there. So, how do you set your site up? So, if you chose template 15, you could change your main title. Instead of what the old one says, you can type in any title you want. But I would say you need to mention One Name Study, and you can put any image you like there. But the images, let me show you on the site. So this is the site. Let me make that a bit bigger so you can see it. These images here are all in the same folder, right? Because these are the main template images, and it only applies to this particular image. And to see what that particular one looks like is there. So it would look like that. If you wanted to change it, you can do that. So if you wanted to change the image, you can either browse from what we've got, and it's not going to show you that. Wait a minute. Select. There we go. So those are all the images in that particular folder. So if you're going to put one of your own up, name it so you can find it. And that's the only time that applies. So we can have an action man. And you can preview that, and it looks like that. I wouldn't suggest that. And you need to click change to do it, by the way. So, subheading, a subhead, and those, when it says Dad's Side, you can actually change that label to anything you like. So it might be Joe Blogs or Mary Blogs or your particular surname. So you need to do that and put a person's ID that label links to. But you can't do that now because you haven't put a JEDCOM file in. So that's the next process. So we're going to import your JEDCOM file, and if you click on that button, you get that particular screen up. Now, you can do this two ways. You can browse on your computer, or if you've already uploaded a JEDCOM previously, you can pick it from there. And again, I'll show you my site so you can see. So I can go there And those are my previous GEDCOM files, right? So I could choose one of those and upload that one. Or you can go browse, and then it starts looking on your hard drive. So I keep my GEDCOMs because I share them with others in Dropbox. There we go. Let's do it. And those are the last three GEDCOMs I made. I only keep three. I only keep three as sort of a backup, if you like. So you would choose one of those. That's the latest one. So open that, and then you would import the data. But then, before you do that, I would click that one, all custom events, and then you've got to choose the tree it goes into. Featherstone main. Don't uppercase. You're going to replace all the current data because I'm updating it. I wouldn't want uppercase surnames. I don't like that. Import media if present. On the first go, I'd do that. And if you've got your data geocoded, you can press that one as well. Okay. Now, I ain't going to use that one because it's clever. Da, da, da. Now, because this is already in that, I'm going to add a new tree for you just to show you how to do it. So it will be tree 5, and you can put in what you like there, and it's John L. Save that. If you're happy you've got all your births and deaths right, you can leave that alone. And there's no media in there anyway. So we'll import data. There we go. And there's nothing in there. But that's what you get. So you do that, close the window. There are some secondary processes. So if your GEDCOM file hasn't sorted the children in date order, you can press sort children. The same with spouses. Okay, that's that bit done. So which one side am I on here? That's that one. So skip. So that was the screen you saw, and that's the bottom of that screen where you replace all current data, and you can please yourself if you do that or not. It helps if you import the media if you've got it linked in your software, because it makes linking them together in TNG a lot easier. I always feel, by the way, that once you've done that, don't do it again, because it's easier to add. I keep a list of the people I add to my database with images, so I save them in the list. So I know next time I import a GEDCOM file, I don't import the media. I'll leave it and then link those in, and I'll show you how to do that later on. We've discovered, by the way, that really large GEDCOM files, and we're talking, well, I've got 77,000 and I don't have a problem, but that 248,000 one I told you about, you will find if you click that box, it's a lot easier, and you'll monitor this screen to show you how many people you've got in your file. And you should also note that sources always come last in GEDCOM files. So when those sources are in there, you know it's uploaded. That's just one of the, normally you would see that window. It also gives you the choice of deleting the GEDCOM file you've just uploaded. I always tend to leave the last one, but delete the one before it. So I've only ever got 2 up there, but that's personally up to you. I mentioned secondary processes, which is that screen there. So sort children, sort spouses, trim media menus. There are ways to really push the boat out and integrate pictures in your headstones into cemeteries that you set up. With this your family, this may be easy. With a one-name study, this can get overwhelming. So let's look at adding an image first. So you click on media, and I'm going to show you on live because it's easier. Oh man, media, right. Now, collections. You get these as on setup, so you have photos, documents, headstones, histories, recording, videos. You can add anything you like to that. I've got arms, so that should be in the list, which is really good. Anyway, you see this one doesn't have an image here. But let's go to upload. So you would name the tree, and you would say headstones, and fowls. And it doesn't matter who we add. There we go. Good guess. So this is a headstone for Elizabeth Vera Featherstone, right? You can fill all this in if you want to. Personally, I don't care what you do. And you start the upload. And then you click that. Now, if you know the idea of Sarah Elizabeth Featherstone, you can just put the ID number in, and it's got to be with an I in front of it, the ID number. Or you can search, and if you search for Featherstone Elizabeth, you get all the Elizabeths. There we go. There's leading thousands of them. So you just click the add one. I can't see that anyway. It doesn't matter where you add it to anyway. So now that person should have that photograph. And that's basic, really. That's how you add media. Nothing complicated at all. That's the button you press. And you can put as many of these people in as you want. So you can add loads of files. It depends how big your study is. The more you add, the longer it will take you. So it's better to do it in bits rather than loads at once, and you've got to sit there and, because once you log out, you lose these files you've added. They'll just disappear. So you've got to do it again. So I always do it a bit at a time. I would say more than 2, but probably no more than 5, because especially when you've got a lot of people with the same name, it can take some time. So we've showed you that bit. The thing to remember is you can now, if you make a mistake and put somebody in the wrong place, for instance, so if I wanted to look at all the images, click search, and I get all the images I've got on my site, and I just happened to save one. So this one here, this is the arms of the first feathered straw I ever found, which is 1085 or 1088, I think it was. And you'll see over here, if you can see it, it's actually in photos and it should be arms. So if I click this, go back to the top, convert selected to arms, and then I click convert selected, the screen should roll over. It changed all selected me with success, and if I go back down again, Elias is now in arms. Yeah. So as you can see, I've got photos, headstones, but you can actually search on each collection. So if you just look for newspaper clippings, for instance, click search, and lo and behold, all my newspaper clippings come up. And you'll notice something as well. Oh no, that's the code. But you notice that you don't get the same information when you click on one. You only get that when you're in all, so you see them all. And so you can change it that way. Right, next slide. Right, custom events. Let me show you what I've got. So you click this custom events bit here, and we get a list like this. Now, if your software produces GEDCOM tags, so the GEDCOM tag for census is CENS, you can either accept, ignore, and to do that you either select it, accept, delete, ignore. Right, let me just show you in live. So as you can see, you can display different census dates. We've got the census of Ireland, 1901 Canada, 1901 cremated, death, all sorts of things. Events, 1841, 1851, 1861, Canada. And if you want these to show up on your individual person, you've got to either accept it or deny it. So if I want to change that christening there, so it shows on the individual, because I don't actually use christening, but my colleague does, so sometimes they sneak through. So accept selected, and you'll see that christening, where the hell's it gone? Is now accepted. So now christenings will show up. If it's a christening tag, the christening will show up. I tend to use baptisms. The other thing I want to show you is branches. And I need to be on another site. There. And it's on the other side. I'm in the wrong one. Hang on a minute. Now I've just started to do this because I think it's quite useful, because let me show you one for a kickoff. If I go to people and I put one in there, right, this is the earliest, well, when I started, this was the earliest Featherstone I found. Some more people have done research, but you will see here it tells you what tree is in, or what branch. So I called the branch Elias of the Castle tree. And you'll see that this is his father, and he's in the same branch. Now, let me go back to da, 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 da. So if I delete that, it disappears. So if you go to add new, cancel a branch. So Louise 1, and you can put in how many ancestors he's got. We'll say 10, and descendants will say 25, and you can, right, you'll save that, and you add labels, and that lists all the featherstones in that particular branch. So each of those people here will have that castle branch on their own page. Okay, done. Close that. We go back to people. There he is. So again, his son's got it. His son's got it. His son's got it, and so on. So whoever, if I go to Peter, he'll be on it as well. So that castle branch stays on all the people in that particular branch. So in theory, when you so there's 546 people, 173 families in that particular branch. Right, I think that leaves about there we are, branch there. Right, so if you get a guild site, you'll have import your deck on file, look at the secondary processes if it's necessary, add your media once your data has been there, everything else you'll want to explore, and other sections of the admin menu, additional coming from on each page, and I'll show you that while I think about it. Every section has a help. All you do is press that and you'll get help. And that's what it looks like. That's how to do things. So, any questions, Julie?
One question that we had, I've answered a few as we've gone through, and what I'll do is I will download the questions and make sure everyone has access to the questions and my answers. But one question that I didn't know the answer to was you mentioned the site pool that had 249,000 people in it. Do you know which software that person's using?
Uh, Legacy, I think.
Which study is it, out of interest?
It's
Should the
not
guys...
listed. It's not listed yet, but it's Sprague, Sprague.
Okay. Um,
But they trace down each branch. They don't just do Sprague. They'll trace down all the branches. So if a Sprague marries somebody else, they'll follow that down. Which is why they've got so many.
Okay. And that, in some ways, is the way that I would do my study. And I do find that I will often go off at a bit of a tangent. But I think that's okay because if we are, as an organisation, we're not prescriptive in how people do their study.
Yeah.
And every now and again, there will be people that just fascinate us for whatever reason. I've had another message from Charles who would like a copy of the presentation. Are you okay to PDF the slides, Paul, and we can circulate them to everybody? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, sure. Yep.
I think that would be helpful because people then can see as they go through. What I would say is that go to that list of sites on the website of all the people that have got their studies in the members website project and
Yep.
just look at the different sites that people are using. I've shared with you in the course material my sites, and I'm not going to get much more chance probably before Christmas to do any significant workload or for my personal trees, but I will get to it eventually. And I think that's okay, is that, as I said all the way through the course, is that you to take your study, you work on it just as you would eat an elephant in bite-sized chunks, fitting it in around everything else that you have to do. And there will be things that will hijack you into go and do something else so that you have a look at an individual or you get caught up in looking at a document and wanting to follow what somebody's done or not done. So I think that's okay. And I think it doesn't matter how much material you've got, archive that because you can keep on working on it and updating. And I think even if we were all struck down tomorrow by somebody hitting a nuclear button, if we've got our whatever material we have in a
No,
study,
the website wouldn't be there with a nuclear button.
well, don't split hairs, Paul.
A passing bus, maybe.
A passing bus. If we're all hit by a passing bus, whatever material you have archived is archived. Joan is asking, is there a book for TNG showing step by step?
No.
There's not, and that was the one thing actually I was talking to Paul about yesterday. And the only thing that you can do, and what I did was I've gone into the help sections.
Yeah. When you get stuck, you just look in the help. Yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, I
And
went to several sections.
if you're on in the guild website, people will answer your questions and even help you put it right if you've gone wrong.
The one thing I will say is that when you apply to the team and they get your site set up, they will leave themselves with the TNG access to your site. Mainly if there's a problem and you can't fix it, the guys have got access to go in and try and fix it for you.
Yeah, you've got to be very careful that you don't, if you put users on a tree and then you delete the tree, you'll lose all the users. So be careful when you're deleting that you know which users to add back. That's what I didn't show you, did I? Let's have a look.
You didn't. Are you able to have a look, Paul, and see if I mute myself while you do that?
So if I go admin users, if people register on your site, this is what you get. And there on this site's been going a few years now, by the way, but there are 3 pages. Then you will notice there's not many with a Featherstone surname. And you can actually email these people in bulk if you wanted to. But I don't let people. I've got two or three administrators. They can do anything. All the rest can do is just submit information to me. So if they see something that's wrong, they'll tell me. And that's how my site's been built up over the years. Okay.
Thanks, Paul. I mean, I was talking to Paul yesterday and I asked him what the benefit is to people registering on your site, because the whole point of having the website available as part of the members website project is so other genealogists can come and look at the site and the material is archived. So because it's open for everyone to look at, why would they register? And I don't tend to encourage people to register, but they can if they want to. It was only after yesterday that I realised there is an advantage to encouraging people to register, is because you open up a dialogue with them. They can do as these people on Paul's site have done. They've registered on the site, which means that he can actually has their contact details and he can email in bulk. So there is a real advantage to that, because the whole point is that you want to have dialogue with other people. And that links us back into what we were talking about last week in the session. That's the Facebook groups. And I'm in the process of just finishing off a document for you, which I'm going to send to you tomorrow. And I think it's really useful, because if you can explore different avenues and encourage other people to come to you in whichever platform they do that, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or just by looking at the website, that's what you want. Is you want people to be able to come to you, to look at the work that you've done and appreciate it, but equally to give you, hopefully, bits of their branch of the tree that will help you for your study. So I'm very envious that Paul has obviously got a team of people helping him, and he's got interaction from other people, and that's what you want. But that doesn't happen instantly.
No, it doesn't.
It's over time. So how long's your study been registered, Paul?
97. 20 years.
So that's impressive, and we all need to be aspiring to having that, but there's no right or wrong way to do a study, and I've said that throughout the course. So what I would say is, if you're thinking this is the method for you, by all means go and have a look at my site, come back and ask me questions. We meet again for our chat next week, and you can have a look and come back with any questions. Anything I can't answer, I know a man who can. If there are any more questions, do you want to just pop them in the questions box and we'll cover them off? Otherwise, we will wrap this up. There will be the recording downloaded, and the webmaster is going to find space on the website. As soon as I've got that, it'll be in the members room. I will send you the details. So I'm just going to have a look. There's just one more question that's just come in, so I'm just going to have a look and see where it's gone. Okay, so Paul, Diana is asking about WordPress with TNG, and says a lot of sites nowadays are with WordPress, and is that advisable? Malcolm, before you answer that, Malcolm's asked a similar question, and what's the difference between TNG and a standalone TNG?
There are restrictions because we're all using the same piece of software. We don't allow. TNG's got something called mods, and there are literally thousands of tweaks you can do that aren't in the people have written, that aren't in the main program. But because the TNG offer is all one software, we can't allow as yet mods. We will consider them, but I think we haven't done any yet, because every time there's a new release, you've got to take all your mods off before you put the release up and off again, and then put them back on again. So it's a bit of a pain. But a standalone TNG site is your own TNG So we advise you, you don't buy it through the guild, you buy it from the author on his website. We'll still put it up there for you, but if you put mods on, we won't be responsible for taking them off again if there's ever an update, so you'd have to do that yourself. That's the main difference, or that's the only difference, really. You with that or not? Did you understand that?
I'll just come in very quickly and just say that I looked through earlier some of the sites that have got WordPress with a TNG platform. My personal view is I don't like the way that it looks, but that's just me. I actually keep a separate blog which is on WordPress, and I link the two together. And that for me works. Joan is asking what mods are. So that's a piece of software that's uploaded into the main TNG software, but the guild aren't responsible for that. So Paul, what site have I got? You better tell me what I've got. I can't remember.
Say that again. What?
What site do I have? I haven't gone for a standalone, have I?
No, no.
Right. Okay, so when there's a new release, the guild, the guys in the TNG group will upload the new release for me. I don't have to do any of that. They just do it for love, I guess, and enables my site to keep functioning. If I had a standalone site, I would have to do all that, and I've already just demonstrated I wouldn't have a clue. So for me, being challenged with the technical aspect of TNG, this opportunity is fabulous from the guild. And I was on committee when we first looked at the pilot, and I was supportive of it, and we gave our vote to have the pilot. I was also on committee when we agreed that the pilot had been so successful we would launch it as a full members benefit. What started, and I think I may have shared with you for the course material, I can't remember, it's a journal article by Mike Spafford, saying the study is the website. And I read it and I understood it, but I didn't really grasp that concept until I went into TNG and the pennies finally dropped just how robust it is and how you can utilize it. And you can just have all, so effectively I see my TNG site as eventually will be like the drawer in my filing cabinet that's chock-a-block with bits of paper. It's all going to be scanned or downloaded and on the site. Somebody has just asked about a copy of the presentation. Yes, we're going to arrange for a copy of the presentation, and that I will upload that separately, and you'll get that. So that's fine. So I think that's pretty much it.
There's the description of what a mod is.
And I'm sure it's explained far better than I've just done.
Yeah, and I could do.
The good thing with the TNG is that Dan Lithgow, who develops it, is a genealogist. So he's not just a programmer working on this software to sell it. He actually works on this piece of software so that he can use it and others can use it, and he gets it because he's going to actually using it himself.
Yeah. There is actually, maybe I should mention that, if you wanted to go alone on your own, there is there's a host that will actually install the software for you for free. You still got to pay for it, of course. I mean, you still got to pay for the software, and you still got to pay for the hosting. And it's called Simply Hosting. Do you want to have a look at that? Just type in Simply Hosting, and so you don't have to come with a guild, and they will install the software for you. But it's a lot easier when somebody else does it, in my opinion. So there's all sorts of things you can do with mods, but anyway, let's see what it's got here. I
would agree. It's easier using the guild. The other thing is, of course, if you use Simply Hosting, which is a .com site, there is actually a Simply Hosting UK company,
Yes.
and they're not the same company at all. But if you use that and at some point in the future you pass away, you won't be able to obviously pay your domain fees, and the site will eventually disappear unless you've made arrangements with other family members. Whereas by going into the guild system, yes, you will still pass away, but the site will be preserved. Um, and that was the whole point of the process of why
Yeah,
this was such a really valuable benefit.
I would agree.
Okay, well, we don't appear to have any questions, which probably means, well, hopefully means everybody is okay and understanding what the members' website. Oh, one more question's just come in. Someone's just nipped in. You're very welcome, Diana. I hope that everyone has enjoyed, if that's the right word, this presentation. Thank you so much, Paul, for spending the last hour and
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Very, very, very generous of you. I appreciate that. If you could let us have a copy of the slides, that would be fantastic. I will make you all aware of where the presentation is going to be when it's up on the website, even if that means the Pharos chat facility in the forum has closed. I have your contact details, and I will make sure you have access to the material. I will get a copy of the presentation and the chat log with all the questions and the answers, because there were several questions that were asked whilst Paul was presenting that I answered.
Okay.
So thank you so much for Paul, and thank you very much for joining us, guys. If there's any other questions you've got, we meet for chat next Monday evening at 8 o'clock in the usual process. And I'll see you all next week.